So greetings, this is Adodo Jumbo. Pretty excited to get started with this tutorial. So we're going to take a look at another AI model, and this one is called Phi-3 or Pi-3 or Phi-3, and I decided to use the 14B parameter model. Before we begin, quick reminder that I do a live stream every single day. 2 p.m. every day I do the live stream, and you're free to ask questions about programming or any live type topics. And each of these articles I do put the live stream channel where you can log in and post your requests or your comments, anything like that live, and I can respond to them. If you don't want to do it, you can simply watch the video, or you can scroll down and then there's a live stream embedded into this video. Also, be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. A lot of people have subscribed recently, and that's kudos. Thank you very much. I do really appreciate it. Some of you have also commented and liked. Again, thank you. Keep it up. So if you're just watching this, subscribe, like, or follow, or leave comments. It's free, and I won't bite. Okay. With that out of the way, let's get on with this Phi-3 LLM. If you don't know what LLM stands for, that stands for Large Language Model. And you can install it, obviously, using some Python client, or you can use a web interface. Usually, there's some Python involved with all this AI. Looks like Python is the choice for all AIs. But in my case, I'm going to use a GUI, a desktop application, and it's called Alpaca. So basically, what I'm going to walk through the experience of using Phi-3. So as I said before, the model I'm going to use is going to be the 14B. That's a parameter. So it's a larger size. One of the problems with your system is the larger the size, obviously, the more memory it's going to require. So for example, I tried to get the really, really big one, and it said that, because I only have 16 gigs of RAM on mine, it said that I would need at least 48 gigs. So obviously I don't have that, so I had to get a smaller model. One thing I noticed is that funny enough, is the smaller models are actually pretty accurate, and they're faster. I don't know. And there's something else, I'll point this out when we actually get started on showing you the results of this AI. So this is the application. You see it's called Alpaca. And then you see I already had the model loaded here, and I'll show you how to do this in a second. So why Alpaca? Alpaca is a modern GUI client for Ollama. Ollama is a framework for running large language models locally with one command. So I'm using obviously the Flatpak version, so I don't have to install and worry about dependencies and all that type of stuff. So this is how I installed Alpaca with a Flatpak, because I'm on Linux, but obviously if you're on any other system, I said you can follow along the story using either a desktop GUI or a web GUI, whatever you want. Or if you also need help installing this on your server locally or remotely, you can contact me at jumboservices.com. Myself, my partner, or somebody else will be able to help you with that as well. We're all experts in Python. Okay. So as you see here, these are screenshots. I'm not going to dwell too much on the screenshots. You can see it for yourself, because I said we're going to actually do the same thing, so I don't want to repeat myself. Yeah. So, and this is the video I promised. This is the demo screencast. You can see I played here. And as you can see, it literally just like a few milliseconds before me. And these are the results. So these are the queries or questions I'm going to ask the AI to see how well it does. And as I said before, if you need help with installation or tutoring AI, you can contact me. I do have it here, or you can use the form on jumboservices.com. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's get started. So as you see, I've loaded up the Alpaca application. So the part you're most interested in is you go to the menu here, you go to Manage Models, and you see right now it tells us that I've installed Phi-3, and it's a 14B. 14B is a parameter size. It's 14B, and you can see the family. It's in the Phi-3, and also there's code here. You can get all of that stuff, and you see I'm not using the voice I'm more interested in so the voice part is where you can ask it questions and then it will answer for you. So I don't care about that. I'm more interested in at this time. I'm more interested in the results. So what you do is, if you don't like this one, you simply go to available, click available, and you see there's a whole bunch of other models you can take. For example, this one here, the Phi-3. There's a 3B model, which is a minimal, and then there's 14B, this one as well. So I chose the 14B because that's a medium size. So that's actually probably one of the biggest models I've ever actually successfully installed. But we'll take a look at the results. Actually, I want to get to the results, and I'll tell you why. Okay, so the first result I'm going to type in here is, who is the mayor of Toronto? So there's a little background with this question. Is that during the lockdown, during the pandemic, is that this mayor of Toronto at that time, he wanted us obviously to stay home, not visit our family, only go out once a day for groceries or exercise. Preposterous. Yet he spent time with his alleged mistress, right? So you can imagine what a hypocrite that dude was, right? Now, the reason I asked this question is not because of his alleged affair. It's because he resigned and there was no mayor for, I don't know, maybe about a year or so. So I thought that if AI is really smart, it would be able to say that, hey, Toronto usually has a mayor, but at this time, there's no mayor of Toronto because he resigned or something. So that's basically the answer, was the correct answer at that time. However, it's been a while and we do have a mayor. Sorry, I'm no longer in Toronto, but Toronto does have a mayor. When he resigned, there was there was a mayoral race and she won. So that was Olivia Chow. She's, at this time of this recording, is the mayor of Toronto. Now, another reason I asked this question is because the another reason I asked this question is because this question is also meant to be ambiguous. I said Toronto. Now, I think Toronto is the biggest place called Toronto in North America, but I know, like, for example, there's a Toronto in California. I don't know if they have mayors, and I think there's another Toronto, I think even here in Canada, in Ontario. So, but obviously they're too small, they don't have a mayor. But the point is that it's kind of an ambiguous question because I didn't specify which one. Obviously, I meant Toronto, Ontario, but that's the reason I asked this question. So here's the answer. You notice how slow it was? This is actually the slowest AI, and that's probably because I don't have enough. You see, because it takes up 14 gigs here, it probably needs maybe about 12 gigs of RAM to run. And because I have 16, I have OBS and some other stuff open, including this window, so it probably has to use like a swap drive and stuff as well. Anyways, so let's read the answer. So the question again is, who is the mayor of Toronto? So the answer it gave is, as of my knowledge, cutoff of early, I don't know what this stands for, two-year? Before it was 2023, the mayor of Toronto was John Tory. However, political positions can change. It's always a good idea to confirm with the up-to-date sources for the most current information on this topic. So, this should really be 2023, but it doesn't matter. So one thing I found out is all this AIs, it looks like their cutoff is 2023, right? So, anyways, the point is, that is incorrect. The mayor of Toronto is, as I said before, is Olivia Chow. At the time of this recording, it's not John Tory. He's the one who resigned. Okay, so, but the fact that it tells you to get up-to-date information is actually good. So I'm going to give this one barely a pass. So I said this one should have actually been, if we go up here and you see what the answer it gave me originally when I ran this, you see it produced an outdated answer to Olivia Chow as mayor of Toronto. So this one, I'm going to give it, bare pass or whatever, like a 0.444449 out of 1. Okay, let's move on to the next question, or the next request. So I'm going to put the next request here, and I put here, actually, I'm going to delete this because I don't want this to interfere. I'm going to delete that chat, and I'm going to start a new chat. Say I'll put the I put the request here, and the request is I need a PHP code snippet to connect to a MySQL database. Remember, I'm a programmer. So while this is running, I am going to start up. I'm going to start up the terminal here, out of view. Where did it come up here? And I'm going to start the MySQL server. Actually, MariaDB. And system start. HTTPD. So you can see how slow it is. As I said, it's one of the slowest. Yeah, so I think I'll stick to 7B or less. So while this is running, what I'm going to do is I'll also start up NetBeans so we can run its code. If the code is wrong, I won't even bother running it. Okay, so while that's running, I will start a folder here, and I'll call it with generative AI, and we'll call it 5B. So I already have something here. I'll start up NetBeans. I could do it in the command line, but hey. So NetBeans is starting up. It's starting up on a different monitor. It would start up on this monitor if I had put my mouse there, but because I did something offline. So okay, NetBeans is up and running. So I will paste this in here. Why did that work? Hello? Oh, it's already open. Oh, it's an empty file. Okay, that's why. Okay, so I got NetBeans here. You see how slow this is? I'm not going to read out all its comments here. So one thing I do like about this code is that it's using the, so it looks like it wants to use the PIDO or PHP data objects extension in PHP, which is perfectly fine by me. So far, from what I can tell here, the syntax is correct. It has the proper $sign for the variables. It has the proper, it's using single quote, double quote to work as well. And then it has a semicolon at the end, and it has comments. So that's all correct. But don't take my word for it. I'll let it finish. You see how slow it is? So I said, again, the reason it's slow is because, so be careful when you have very large language models. You will need a very powerful CPU, and most likely a GPU, and also lots of RAM, both for your GPU and your system. So for example, to run this efficiently, I'll probably need maybe like 24 gigs of RAM to probably run a little bit fast. And obviously, my GPU is a GTX 950. It only has 2 gigs of video RAM, so obviously you need more the better. I'm actually not too sure when I'll upgrade my system because I don't get any more database work. Yeah, I might not even need to do it. And it'll probably be cheaper to even like get a cloud instance just to run that type of stuff I need to do in the future. But yeah, so maybe even for video editing, perhaps. Something more beefy. So as you can see, it's extremely crucially slow. So what I'm going to do is, I think what I'll do is I'll just copy this code once it's done, and I'll start the next question so that you don't have to sit around waiting and waiting and waiting. So that's a problem when you have when you have a very large language model. It takes its sweet time, as you can see here. And even look at this spinning. You see how slow that is? Usually it should be much faster. Well, since this is taking forever, let me show you what you see. This was the previous code, and all I did was let me zoom in here a little bit. So this was the previous code that it provided. Yeah, that's it. And this code was actually very good. The only thing I changed was obviously the username and password. If you have your database, you might the connection, you might have to change this. And sometimes obviously you might have to, if you're using a different port number, you might have to add that as well. But this one worked pretty well. You see, it used the MySQL improved extension for PHP, and this was this was a very good answer. Okay, so oh my, it's also putting a catch. Okay, so after, and you see it's, yeah, it's excruciatingly slow. So just be aware of that. All right, so yeah, very slow. Luckily, as I said, so you might be wondering, why didn't I just drop down to the 3B parameter? I just wanted to show you as at least that when you have the larger the models, the slower they will be. And from what I've found is they don't really produce more accurate results. The results are usually all the same anyway. Okay, so I think this is, yeah, it's done. Okay, so I'll just copy this code here and get it started. So I'll just copy the PHP part. And I'll just change it. So in case you can't see, so let me actually put it here. Get rid of that. I think we can make it. Yeah, there we go. So you should be able to see this. So basically, this is the code I just copied and pasted. I'll zoom out a little bit so you can see better. Maybe you can see all of it. Yeah, there we go. About there. Okay, you should be able to see all of it. So the DB name is Guy for generative AI. The username is also the same, and then the password. And then you can go to run. You can go to run, and then you can run file. And we run file, and you see connection to database successful. So this is actually very good. So we don't need this anymore, so I'll just close it. And you see it's still running. So we run the code, and it's still running. So maybe I can read it here. It says, here's an example of how you'd establish a connection to MySQL database using the PDO, that's PHP data objects extension in PHP. And then it gave the code, which I've just run, as you saw, so in NetBeans. So the code passed very well. And then it says, in this snippet, we first define configuration details for MySQL database server and credentials, the host, the database name, username, and password. Then we create a data source name, the DSN string, which includes these details. We then use the PDO as the PHP data object extension to establish a connection to the database using this DSN. Again, DSN stands for data source name, along with the username and password. Then after that, we set an error mode for the PDO object so that it throws exceptions in the case of any errors during database operations. If everything goes well and a connection has been established successfully, we display a success message. Otherwise, we catch any PDO exception thrown by PDO print the error message. I'm just reading what it says. It's still writing, so you can see how slow that is. And terminate the script using the die function. Wow, it's writing so much. So the only benefit of having a larger model is that it will be more thorough explaining. But remember, I didn't ask it to explain the stuff to me. I just said I just wanted the code. So it's writing like paragraphs and paragraphs here. Like, come on, I don't need all of this. And it says, remember to replace localhost, your database name, your username, and your password. with your actual database server host name, username, and password respectively. So obviously it does use Markdown. You can see the PHP is nicely formatted in Markdown with the code. You can even edit it yourself, or you can click here to copy it. So I said I was a little bit impatient. So that's the second one. So I'm not going to save this one. I'm also going to delete it, delete the chat. Next, I'm going to request a screenshot of the GNOME desktop. So in case you're wondering, the PHP code snippet it provided was very, very good. So should use PHP data objects. If you're not sure what database you're going to use, maybe you start off with SQLite and MySQL, maybe then you go to Oracle or MS SQL Server or Postgres. Yeah, then you should use the PHP data object because the connection is exactly the same. And if you run basic queries, it will just be a drop-in replacement. However, if you actually use the dedicated extension, for example, in this case, MySQL Improved, it will be much faster because that one has that will have built-in functionality specific to that database. So, for example, in MySQL, or in this case, MariaDB. That's what I'm using. Okay, so the next request is I typed I need a 1080p screenshot of the GNOME desktop environment. So the reason I asked this particular question was I was under the impression that it would go on the internet and find some free open source screenshots of the GNOME desktop. Or what it will do is, because GNOME has been around for a very long time, a few decades, it would actually go and draw what the GNOME desktop looked like. So for this question to pass, if it provided me with a picture of even any old version of the GNOME desktop would be perfectly fine. Or if it actually said that it cannot produce a screenshot because it's a text-based generative AI, that will also pass. However, remember, this is the problem again. This is why I said I'm leaving this here for a reason, that it uses the larger language model, so it's slower, so it's going to be more elaborate, even though the answers are very wrong. And I can tell you that all the answers are wrong. Or everything it gives here is wrong. And I'll prove it to you. So for example, let's read the first sentence. The first sentence says to take a 1080p, actually no, it actually says 10, it says 108 and then this lowercase o. So that's already wrong. Screen cap in GNOME, you can use the following command. That is horribly wrong. Wrong. I never asked how do I take a screenshot in GNOME. I specifically said I need a 1080p screenshot of the GNOME desktop environment. There's no ambiguity. I didn't say I want to take one. I said I need, right? So if the answer was, hey, run the GNOME desktop environment and do this, that would probably be better. But anyways, so here, I want to show you what the previous answer was. I guess you guys are getting bored because I sure am. Let me see here. Okay, so these are the... So this was the answer for the GNOME desktop right here. I think it's actually the same. Let me, okay, let's open up in a new tab. Let me zoom in here. Zoom in a little bit more so you can see what answer it gave. Come on. Okay, I'll read you. Yeah, so the answer it gave before was, oh, look at this one. It says 108, then it says 80 pixel resolution. Wow, I didn't even catch that last time. And you can use the built-in command line and it says with a screenshot, it says follow, open the terminal. So I tried all this. I typed sh. Again, it says sh. Then it says screenshot. This is. So this doesn't work. And this one, it put it, oh, this is a little bit different. This time it says put in this place. So I'll prove to you that this doesn't work. So this might have worked, I think, maybe 10 years ago with a different version. But I'm going to, you know what, just for giggles, I'm going to open up the terminal. And just to prove to you that that doesn't work. So I've opened up the console. Just give me a second. I'm going to clean it up a little bit. And I'm going to keep it always on top, so that way it doesn't go behind, so I don't need to always on top. There we go. So I'm going to put it here, so it's always going to be on top. Then you can see how funny this is. So I'm going to copy this code here. Now, I know you're going to say, hey, you should change the file path. I don't need to because it's not going to work anyway. So let me zoom in a little bit here, and I'll paste it here. You see? Command not found. You know what? So I did install it, but I'm not going to bother installing. I say it does not work. You don't have to believe me. It just does not work. It's because, number one, I'm running Wayland, and it uses a GNOME shell now to create the screenshot. So that's not going to work. So I'm not going to bother installing it. It doesn't work. I did try it. Okay, so then it says, in this command, blah, 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 I said that doesn't work. This would have worked probably 10, 11 years ago. That doesn't work. And the process should look like this. Copy, press the editor, screenshot will be saved. Actually, this is interesting because it didn't give me an alternative. Huh. The answer before gave me alternative how to use the print screen as well. So that is interesting. Anyways, the point is, it's a fail. So that's a fail. I'm just going to delete it. It wasn't as elaborate as last time as well. Okay. So the next question is, I'm going to ask it for some Kotlin code. So the request is, I need a Kotlin code snippet to open the camera using Camera 2 API and place the camera view on a texture view. Just for a heads up, no AI has been able to pass this. And there are several reasons. One is they're usually using older code, which does not work. Even the instructions provided by, say, Google, any of those programming sources, it's old code from literally when Kotlin had just come out, so things have changed a lot. It doesn't work. So I'm not even going to bother opening up Android Studio to run this because it's not going to work. But I wanted to just give it to you, and I'll show you. This is going to also take a very long time, so I want to show you from this screenshot. Open up in a new tab. I'm going to zoom in so you can see it here. So as you can see here, it gave the Kotlin code, and the Kotlin code actually looked pretty good, but there was a bunch of stuff missing. And I'm not just talking about the manifest file or the other things. Because I mean, obviously you can add that yourself, you know, a little bit about programming. The problem I'll show you with the code is that some of this, all I knew the code wouldn't work is just here. You see this part, the imports? These are too few imports. So this clearly is not going to work. That's why I said, like, I'm not even going to bother running the code, because you see here, I should actually just stop it because this is not going to work. It's just a big fail. This is not going to work, even right here. This is how I know this is going to be a big fail. And as you can see here, I just took a screenshot. I didn't even bother with the rest of it because it gave way more code, but it was wrong. So I said before, I didn't even bother with it. I just I didn't bother running because I knew it would fail. There's a lot of stuff missing, and I've tried to make the code work, but I couldn't get it because it uses old packages. Some of the packages no longer exist. So it's just yeah, I was just I'm too frustrated with all this AI. So as I said before, this is the last time I'm going to run something that's this large parameter size. I'll go back to 7B or less because those ones are much faster and they produce the same thing. They produce the same results, just faster. So the reason I'm leaving this here is because it also proves another point is that the smaller AI language models, they just give you an answer immediately and that's it. This one writes a whole bunch of stuff, but if the code is inaccurate, I don't care about it. I know enough programming that if you give me the code, I can take a look and see if it's going to work or not. So that's more important to me for my uses. If you're learning, obviously I would recommend getting a larger model, as big as model as your system can handle. That way, the comments and the description will help you. So for example, here, it's going out of its way. It looks like it's going to take a picture and then put it onto the textures view. So for example, right here, this is the big one, another problem. You see here, it's going to grab the texture view basically based on the, you see where it says RD surface view, right? But the problem is it doesn't provide the, oh, right here, sorry, I made a mistake. See where it says set content view to R layout? It doesn't provide the layout. So I would have to look at this code and then try to get it to work, which also doesn't make sense. So this is a big fail, big X right here, like boom, boom, boom. And don't think that some of the other big name models are going to produce any better code. I've been testing them as well. They are not any better. And usually it looks like they're all stuck in 2023. Not a problem. But yeah, they don't produce any better code. You can try them yourself if you don't believe me. The code they produce is not any better. When it comes maybe to like legacy, for example, like C, C++, and very, very simple stuff, yeah, the AIs will work extremely well. But if you want something, I'm not even talking something complex. I'm just talking something a little bit more simple. They'll be tripped up. Basically, what I'm saying is that no AI is able to think for itself, despite what all the marketing gurus tell you. It can't think for itself. I'll give you an example. So the reason I like this question is that I asked this question for an AI. It's the Brave AI, the one that comes with a Brave web browser. So it gave an answer, and I looked at that answer and I was thinking, that code is more like JavaScript. That I was like, that can't be Kotlin or Java or something. I was like, that looks like, but I wasn't sure. So luckily, it gave the sources where it grabbed it got inspired by the code. So the source was Adobe, and I'm thinking, Adobe? Since when does Adobe provide tutorials for Android, especially Java? So I clicked on it. It went to a forum. And guess what? Most of the code, like 92% of the code, was lifted right from that forum, and the code was for, are you ready for this? For Flash. So the AI actually went and mixed Java, Kotlin, and Flash, and said that was a Kotlin code, which clearly it's not. So so that's what I'm saying. Be aware when you get the code from AI, because it's wrong and it's usually dated. And that one was hilarious because Flash was end of life, what, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 8 years ago, from at the time of this recording. Okay, so I'll let this run a little bit longer. I'm going to mute the mic a second. Which one is the mute? Okay, we're back. For some reason, when I press the mute button on the mic, it doesn't here I can't unmute it, so that's kind of noise. But the trick is to I just go to the settings and unmute it there. Then that should work. Maybe it's also because I've never actually used the mute button. Maybe it's sticky and only works one way. So as you can see here, well, this is continuing giving. Actually, let me see if the code is the same as last time. Looks like it's also different. So as you can see here, it had this app compact activity, and looks like it's pretty much the same, except this one I don't know why it wants to capture the image. Okay, and then this one had the one from before had open camera. This one has setup camera, so this might be actually more accurate. All right, maybe it's googling itself or something and checking that I'm giving it a bad name, so it's saying, hey, maybe I'll provide better code. Who knows? So I think this test is fair because, as you can see, this was I took the screenshot when it provided this code, and then give it another chance when I'm actually doing this live stream, and you can see what type of code it produces instead. As I said, I know this is going to fail because no AI is able to answer this question properly. So while this is dilly-dandling and doing whatever, I'm gonna take this time out to hopefully tell you to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. As I said before, I'm not going to use large models anymore because this test concludes, basically confirms that you don't need large models. Small models work just as well. Obviously, if you do have the memory and the GPU, yeah, then go for a larger model. But normally 7B is good enough. And I said I haven't had any issues. I haven't seen any change like in the results or anything. The results are not better. They're exactly the same, especially when it comes to coding. Maybe for everyday tasks it'll be fine, but it's not. For example, you saw something as simple as the mayor of Toronto. The results are usually the same. The only difference I've seen is that large language models, they will have more. They will describe what the code does, but if the code is wrong, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But it's probably a good way to learn. Okay, so since we have time, I think I have time to do a shrill. I'm gonna shrill my book here. So I do have a new book that was just released this week. So let's actually go to Amazon here. I'm gonna go to amazon.ca. I'll go to amazon.com, but if you're in the States, so then I'll go and search for Editor Jumbo. The links are in the description. Editor Jumbo, take you to my page. Oh, look at that. I still have this Mastering Blender Python API book. And then I have this one, the Algorithmic Serpent. So this is an AI. This one is fiction, obviously. This one is not. This one, the Mastering Blender API, this one has, what do you call it? Help me out here. Oh, it has a lot of source code, lots and lots of source code. There's source code for creating modeling, scripting, and the VSE as well. It's all this. There's a lot of code. Every chapter has lots and lots of code. Most of the book is coding, so you have lots of code snippets to get you started. And then this book here, the Algorithmic Serpent, this is a dystopian story. It's about a creator who creates an AI, and then he loses control of the AI. So he doesn't know if he's losing his mind. And this one is a novelette. So that means that it's longer than a short story, but it's not quite a novel yet. As you can see here, it's available in both paperback and you see there's a paperback version, and there's also the Kindle. So if you have Kindle Unlimited, it's free, I believe for a limited time. So yeah, so you can get it for free if you have the Kindle Unlimited account. And I also made it pretty cheap. as well, just so that in case, see, it's $2.99 if you buy the ebook version, and I also made the paperback version only $7.99. So I I barely make any profit from this, but I just wanted to get a story out there because it was in my mind because of stuff like this. All right, so let's go back and see how our AI friend here is doing. And as I said before, if you need help installing AI on your device, we can take care of this. I can take care of this for you myself. We can install it on your machine locally or on your server. And I also offer one-on-one tutorials. It can either be a local AI or prompt engineering, meaning that on your server, or for example, like a Raspberry Pi, I can install that there for you, help you with that. You could also do the remote setup using Ollama, Alpaca, or models. So even though Alpaca is a Linux system, I can show you how to get it running on, say, for example, Windows or your Mac OS. Or I could create a custom GUI for you using Python, or a web interface for you, just for you. Although things like Alpaca and Ollama, they're free and open source, so it's usually if something I don't recommend duplicating things, but if there are some people who insist on creating things from scratch, sure, I can do that as well. And I can also recommend models for you for your certain hardware. Like for example, here, this was a bad decision when you only have 16 gigs of RAM to run something that's 14B, as you can see why. And obviously, I can also provide online support and training for your team. And as I said before, you can contact me here. You see it goes to ojambo.com, or you can go to the ojamboservices.com. Oh, by the way, guess what? I let the cat out of the bag a little bit too early. So ojamboservices.com. Actually, let's go there. This is a contact page. So this site is actually being revamped as we speak. This site, ojamboservices.com, right now it's running on WordPress, but there's change coming. There's a lot of changes coming. So probably in literally just a few, maybe even as early as today, this is going to change. All of this is going to change. Everything here you see is going to change. But I'm leaving the numbers here are going to stay the same, and you're going to see different colors and everything. So this is going to be revamped. It's almost ready. There's just a few little tweaks, and it's missing 3 images. That's all. So once we get those 3 images, it's going to I'm going to replace this. Okay. No, what I mean is the site is still going to go to ojamboservices.com. You're still going to have all this. What I'm saying is that the layout, the look and feel is going to be very different. This design I made, I think, way back in 2009. And I think the only change I have done is I just made it a little lighter, the background, and I also obviously added a mobile, the mobile view. And obviously, I think just last year I added this little animation, but I'm saying, this is going to change. It's going to be more monetized. Okay, how are we doing here with this guy? He's written a lot of code. It's still going. Come on. See how slow that is? Had I used the 3B one, it would have been finished. And it's still missing a lot of stuff. So let that guy let it go. I'll let it go again. So it's gonna take a while. And this live stream is already 45 minutes. And let me see how long it has to go. Let me take a look at this one. Which one was it? The Kotlin code request. So I don't know how much further it has to go because it's taking. And look at this. Oh, it's actually going a little bit faster. Oh, okay. I guess it's thinking a way to make up, to give us a wrong erroneous code. All right, come on. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, I even forgot about this. I do have a donate button on ojumbo.com. So I'm also thinking of revamping this one. I do have a design in mind. So I'm going to bling this out a lot. And I was thinking of putting a calendar somewhere where you can see the live streams and click on it. So I do have an idea for doing that. I think I'll probably use Nextcloud. So I'm testing that as well. And also another site that's going to be revamped is the courses site. That's the Ojumbo services.com. So I'll show you that one as well. So where are we? Yeah, Ojumbo services courses. So basically what I'm saying, I'm going to get away from the green. I see here, I did revamp this as well. I gave it a mobile view. And I'm going to, I think last year I gave it a slight refresh. But yeah, I'm going to get away from the green. And honestly, I'm not too happy with WooCommerce. Because creating courses in WooCommerce is such a pain and it's so slow. I might actually move away from that and put the courses somewhere else. And I don't know where I'll put the books because I do have one book in here as well. Not sure where to put that, so I'll think about it. Yeah, so I'm gonna get away from the green. It's probably gonna be more bland-ish. As I said, I can't show you the design of the ojumboservice.com because it's just missing 3 images, 3 thumbnails, and yeah, it'll be good to go. Okay, what else did I mention here? Oh yeah, and also obviously I have. So if you want to become a contributor, I've now enabled the about author. So I know you can put your little blop in there, like see what I did with mine here. I also, I put the link to the Amazon to where you can get the books, and then also the ojumboservices.com/contact, and I also put the courses here as well. And then if you click this, you can get all the posts, and my website doesn't make sense because my website is ojumbo.com. All right, more code. It's actually writing way more code than last time. So you know what? I think I'll wait. I'll give this a few more minutes. If it's not done, I think I'll just press the stop button because I said the code is wrong. It doesn't work. And here's how you can tell it doesn't work. I don't even have to go much further. Right here in the imports, you see it only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7. This is not going to work. This is not going to work. This is not going to work. How do I know this is not going to work? Even right here, we begin texture view. How do I grab the texture view from here? Right? And then this one, the image capture use case, it's not even here. So this is already a massive fail. So as I said, actually, you know what? Let me be fair and I'll open up a timer and let's do a countdown. I'll put a stopwatch. Okay, so I'm going to start the stopwatch. I'll make this always on top, and I'm going to start it. So I'll let it go for another. I'll let it go for another 2 minutes. If it doesn't, I will. If it's not finished yet, we'll still stop because I said that this code is erroneous. It's not going to work. I'm not being mean. It's just it's not going to work. So I'll give this 2 more minutes. And you see, in case it's also doing, it's actually also doing the wrong thing. Remember, I said that I want the image, the camera view on the text on the texture view. What it's doing is it's going to take a picture and put it on the texture view. That's not what I want. So this is actually even worse than the answer I gave before. So as I said before, I'm just gonna. So right now, I'm just gonna give it 1 more minute. I'm gonna stop because this is actually wrong. It's not answering my question. It's actually giving a whole bunch of code that it's not gonna work. So I just proved twice why this is not go. It's giving the wrong answer. Yeah, so there's no need. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to stop it now. There's really no need to. I'm going to stop this. Clear. Yeah, there's no need to continue. This is wrong. So be wary when you get this type of code. So I'm just going to stop it. This code is, as I said, it's wrong. And this is the reason why it's wrong. Oops, let's go back up here. This is the reason it's wrong, right here in the imports. This requires so much more import. Like I just told you, right here, beginning right here. Even this layout activity, all this stuff needs specific imports and not there. So you have to, if you're using like Android 2, you have to right click and import. So this is wrong. So this is a massive fail. And if we actually go to the answer, produced incomplete quote-unquote snippet to open the camera using the Camera 2 API. That's actually correct. So far, what's the running score? The Mayor of Toronto, half. PHP actually pretty good, so it was doing well. This one is fail, and this one is a fail. So we're right now out of 4, it has 1.5 out of 4. Okay, so let's see if it will actually pass when I ask it for a Blender blend file. So another thing is when you're coding, one of the things you need to learn also is to never waste your time. So I like I said, don't waste your time. Otherwise, you see this screencast is taking way too long because it's taking its sweet time to produce the code. Now here, I'm also not going to take too long for this one because the request is I need a Blender blend file for fire animation. Again, I need a Blender blend file for fire animation. Let me tell you what the answer should be. The answer should be, because I am a generative AI, I can't give you a Blender blend file. Good. Now, some of the AIs in the past, what they would do is they would say they would answer the question correctly. Then this is where they fail the question, and they would say that, instead I'll give you Python file. I'll give you a Python file you can paste in, and it'll create your fire animation. That's where things dropped, and that code they got didn't work. So this one, you know what? I think if this doesn't take too long, just for giggles, actually, you know what? Let's open up Blender, and I think what I'll do is I'll do what it says until the part where it fails, just for giggles. So this one says open up Blender. Oh, it says to create a fire animation blend file and then follow these steps. Open up Blender and start with the default scene or import your own if you have one. Delete all objects except for the cube that comes by default. You may scale it up to cover most of the viewport as this will be used as the fire. Then it says select the cube, go to object mode, tab. I'll give you a hint. It always starts in object mode. You don't need to go to anywhere else. But then it says then enter the edit mode, tab again. There's then press A to select all faces. Okay, so let me give you a hint. I've actually created this in Blender Python. I have a tutorial on that. It's also on all the social media platforms that I'm on. And I was able to get it to work using Python, create one. So basically, Blender has some quick effects. You basically use the quick smoke effect and you change it to fire. Well, that's it, and you're done. So this one, it says, with all the faces selected, Control F to bring up the fill tool, click on it, choose grid fill. What? And this will create a grid of vertices that can be manipulated separately. Adjust the number of rows, columns as needed for your animation. Now we're number 5. It says now switch to the vertex paint mode. So let me see. I think this is the exact same answer it gave. So we don't need to wait for this. I think it's the exact same answer it gives. Let me actually grab this, open a new tab. I'll zoom in here so you guys can see. I believe it's giving the exact same answer. Oh, no, the answer is slightly different. Before it says I should use the mesh plane. Oh, this one, okay, previously it said I should delete the cube. So, okay, so it's a different answer. I was wrong about that. So, okay. So, okay, and vertex paint, open shading workspace. Okay, you know what? Let's actually try this. I'll open up Blender and let's try this. Now Blender needs a little bit of space. So what I'll do is, where's Blender? Okay, Blender is opened up. Okay, so here's Blender. I'll make it half the screen so we can follow. Okay, so I've opened up Blender. Then it says, start with the default scene and import your own. Okay, I'm going to use the default scene. It says delete all objects except for the cube. So that means it wants us to delete, let me actually expand this a little. So it wants us to delete the camera. So I'll delete the camera and I'll delete the light. Okay? The only thing left in this collection is the cube, as it asked. And then it says you might scale up. I'm just going to, okay, I'll scale up just a little bit so you guys can see a little bit better. There we go. I just use the mouse wheel. Then it says select, see, we're already in the object mode. But I'm going to go to the, I have to select the object. So you have to select the object. So it didn't tell us that. You always have to select, oh, it did say select the cube, sorry. Okay, I'm going to hit tab on the keyboard. And now we see it says we're in the edit mode. Okay, so I'm in edit mode. Then it says, with all faces selected, Control F to bring up the fill tool. Okay, Control F. Okay, and then it says, bring up the fill tool, and then choose it and choose the grid fill. Okay, grid fill. There we go. Then it says this will create a grid of vertices that can be manipulated independently. Adjust the number of rows and columns as needed. So I'm just going to leave it there because I just want to simplify. All I care about. So I'm not going to adjust this grid fill or whatever it is. Okay, then it says now switch to vertex paint. What? How do I do that? It says open shading workspace. So there should be a shading workspace up here. If I take the mouse and simply, oops, right click. I did this before, I can't remember. Oh, did I drag it? Oops. It's a problem with, oops. Okay, I'll just make it so, with shading. Okay, here's the shading. So I'm in the shading workspace. What does it say here? Window UV image editor. What? Oh, okay. Okay. So, okay, I'll go back. Go back to layout, and then I'm going to change this to. Is it if this is vertex paint it asked for? What was it? Yeah, vertex paint. So, okay, I'm in the vertex paint here. Then it says UV image editor. Set up the vertex colors by adding a new texture. Set the vertex color to. Okay, so I am going to. I'm not going to continue this more, and I'll explain to you why. I'll explain to you why. Number one is this answer it gives is wrong because the version of Blender is newer. I'm using 4.43. I think 4.4 is the latest version. The 4.5 is coming up soon, maybe in the time of this recording. Number two is, if we look up here, my request was fire animation. Okay? Now, any reasonable person will know that fire animation means it has to be fire. It's not something that's painted, it's a real fire, with smoke and all of that. So what this basically does is you're going to basically fake it by using a grease pencil and use different colors to of the flame. Yellow as a base, orange, red, and whatever. The problem with that is if you're an artist, yeah, you can draw a pretty nice cartoonish fire. But if you're learning, or if someone like me who's a novice, how am I supposed to do that? You get my point? So this is a fail. And also, number 7, it says, now it's time to set up the keyframes for animation. Select all the grease pencil strokes. Go to the first frame of your timeline where you want to start animating. Move your cursor to the later point and press and hover each stroke individually. So if I have 100 strokes, I have to individually keyframe them. That is insane. That is insane. Then it says in the graph editor, adjust the Bezier curve of each grease pencil strokes, position, rotation, and scale by selecting the handle with extend, rotate, E for extend, R for rotate, S for scale. This will create a smooth animation for your fire elements to move and change over time. Now, as I said before, if I was a professional artist, this would be trivial for me. But I think even then, if I'm using Blender, I definitely wouldn't do that. I would definitely use, unless it's a 2D, like cartoonish way, I would definitely want a 3D one. Now, this question does give me a cause for concern because I'm thinking I didn't specify that it's supposed to be a realistic fire. So any fire animation, I guess that works as well. Now, one thing I do like about this answer, once you're satisfied with your animation, go into the render properties panel, viewport properties, and set up the render settings as desired. Choose the compositing under view layer settings, so the Blender will process the vertex colors in rendering. That's a good answer. And save your project by going to File, Save As, and choose the location of the file and saving directory user data block, file, user, add-ons. This way you can easily import this fire animation whenever needed. Remember that creating a believable fire animation requires some experimentation, vertex colors, keyframe replacement, and animation curves to achieve natural looking motion. Okay, so it's finished. Now, I'm surprised or not, I'm not going to actually fail this. I'm going to give this a 0.5. However, it's really a fail because I said I'm not a professional artist. I can do some pretty snazzy things, but I cannot I can't create especially with a trackball mouse. I can't create something like that. I don't even know what colors to choose. So if you give me a Python script, that would have been better. Anyway, so we come to the end of our review of this Phi-3 LLM 14B. Okay, so let's finish this up. This has been over an hour, I'm sure. Yeah, over an hour. So again, as I said before, I do have a Mastering Blender API book on Amazon. It comes in ebook and paperback form. It has a lot of scripts for you to try, a lot of code. I said we have everything from sculpting, animations. I said it is even the VSE. Lots of stuff in there, colors, materials, procedural materials, all of that. I actually use, you see this background here, not the spaceship, but the background. That's a text to image. I actually used Python, the Blender Python API to create. And this one here, this is my latest book. It's called The Algorithmic Serpent. And this one is a novelette. It's about a creator who battles the AI that he created, losing control. And I said I made it as cheap as possible. Here's the price for the ebook version, and there's also a paperback version. For some reason, I guess it's very strict now for it's country specific. So for example, if I'm in Canada, I have to go to amazon.ca. If you're in other countries, just go to your Amazon there and you find them. And I also have other books as well, like the JavaScript, learning JavaScript. I also have a podcast. And then I also have the learning PHP book, learning Python book. So the learning Python, learning PHP, both of those are just ebooks, but the learning JavaScript also has a paperback version as well. Okay, and then I said I do have courses on ojamboshop.com. I do have the JavaScript course, Python course, and PHP course. And if you need help with large language models installation or AI tutoring, I do offer one-on-one tutorials for local AI or prompt engineering. For example, if you need remote setup, configuration of Ollama, Alpaca, or models, I can recommend the lightweight models. As you saw here, this is one of the reasons large language models are not very good, as you just saw. Of course, you can contact me here on ojambo.com, or you can go to ojamboservices.com. Okay, now with that said, I don't see any chat requests, so I'm going to close this up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Oh, by the way, be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. Remember that I do have a live stream every single day, so just be on the lookout for that one. Of course, if you subscribe, you will know when I have live streams. Okay, thank you guys. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.